So settle into a comfortable seated posture. Both feet are flat on the floor, about a hip's width apart. Feel the backs of your legs in your seat, your hands in your lap, and your sits bones in your chair. And align your shoulders with your hips and your ears with your shoulders. So just imagine your spine is a beautiful string of pearls of light, stretching from the base all the way up through the crown of the head and beyond. Just imagine you're lengthening your spine. Putting some space in between the vertebrae. And just go to the crown of the head and release any tension there. Relax the scalp and the forehead, the nose, the mouth, the back of the tongue, the jaw, the temples, your ears, back of the head. Lengthen your neck. Just allow the shoulders to drop down and relax the throat and the chest and the belly and all of your limbs. Notice the sensations of the breath as you inhale and exhale. Around the nostrils, chest cavity, the belly. And just notice the sounds that are in your environment. And then just allow all the sounds to be there, trying not to follow with the mind. And then just see how you're doing this evening. And maybe it's morning or lunchtime where you are. And put some space in between your thoughts. Just allow them to arise and abide. And then just trying not to get caught up in the emotion, the feelings, the story, and just be objective about what it is you're seeing there in your mind right now. And then bring to mind all the people of your life, your loved ones, and you may have some strangers in your life that you've passed today. And then, maybe there's someone in your life you don't like so much. Just keep in mind that all these people are equal in that they want to be happy and they don't want to suffer. They're just like you and me in that way. And then they also, just like you and just like everybody here, we all have this capacity for a Buddha mind. So we'll do this meditation for the benefit of all these people of our life, and by extension, all the sentient beings. So we think there is no negativity that can't be purified. And this purification process is basically a psychological one. And we create negativity with our mind, so equally we can change it by creating positivity instead. And we start with this power of regret. So sincerely regret from the depths of your heart anything you have done to harm any living being on this day, in this life, and in all of our past lives. And think of specific actions of both your body and your speech. And then in general, regret all. And the reason to regret is based on this logic of karma. And we experience everything due to our past karma, our past actions, and having harmed others, we ourselves will necessarily experience suffering in the future. And we cannot bear the thought of any future suffering that we might experience. So we know, so logically, it would make sense to remove all of those negative karmic seeds before they ripen as future suffering for us. So think like this: I regret from the depths of my heart having harmed others with my body and my speech, having broken my vows because I do not want this future suffering. I'm sick of suffering. And also regret any anger, attachment, and the rest that are the cause of why we harm others. And then think, I'm sick of this suffering. And then, well, what can I do about it? Whom can I turn to? So here we come to the power of reliance, and we turn to the Buddha, who we see as a doctor, who has these methods that we can use to purify. And it's not that we're needing Buddha to forgive us. We're purifying ourselves by relying upon his medicine. So you imagine Vajrasattva above the crown of your head. You can also imagine this is the mind of your teacher manifesting in this form for your benefit. And he's made of this radiant, blissful white light, sitting cross-legged on a white lotus and a moon cushion. And he has this beautiful, radiant face that's kind of welcoming you and really happy to see you. And he has his arms crossed at his heart, and the left is crossed underneath the right, the closest to the heart. And the left hand holds a bell representing wisdom, and the right is holding a vajra, which represents the indestructibility of compassion, and their being crossed represents the union of these two. And this symbolizes enlightenment itself, the development of infinite wisdom and infinite compassion. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. By this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva, may I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. So here we have that section on developing compassion. And in order to develop compassion, we need to rely upon other beings and the very beings we have harmed and those who have harmed us by developing compassion for them. So a wish for them to be free from suffering. So think of particularly of people you've harmed recently and in the past, and then in general, all beings we have ever harmed since beginningless time. And then remember those who have harmed you and have compassion for them because they're going to suffer as a result of the harm they've done to you. So just make a strong aspiration that we do this practice of purification for the benefit of all these beings and think, I must purify for their sake. So now we come to the power of the remedy, and this is the actual medicine doing the practice of purification. And we start with the body, and Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful white nectar, like coming out of a hose, quite forcefully from his heart. And it arcs around and enters your crown and pours into your entire body, filling you completely. And it keeps pouring into you until it forces out of your lower orifices all the harm you've ever done to any living being with your body in the form of inky liquid. And this pours out of you and disappears into space, not one atom left as we recite the mantra. Vajrasattva samayam manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Jida meboa, Situkaya meboa, Sipokaya meboa, Anarakta meboa, Sawasidi mimpiyatsa sawa kama sitame, Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagawan, Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sepa A Hum Pe. Vajrasattva samayam manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Jida meboa, Situkaya meboa, Sipokaya meboa, Anarakta meboa, Sawasidi mimpiyatsa sawa kama sitame, Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan, Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sepa A Hum Pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Jida meboa, Situkaya meboa, Sipokaya meboa, Anarakta meboa, Sawasidi mimpiyatsa sawa kama sitame, Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagawan, Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sepa A Hum Pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Jida meboa, Situkaya meboa, Sipokaya meboa, Anarakta meboa, Sawasidi mimpiyatsa sawa kama sitame, Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan, Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sepa A Hum Pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Jida meboa, Situkaya meboa, Sipokaya meboa, Anarakta meboa, Sawasidi mimpiyatsa sawa kama sitame, Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagawan, Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sepa A Hum Pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Jida meboa, Situkaya meboa, Sipokaya meboa, Anarakta meboa, Sawasidi mimpiyatsa sawa kama sitame, Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagawan, Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sepa A Hum Pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Jida meboa, Situkaya meboa, Sipokaya meboa, Anarakta meboa, Sawasidi mimpiyatsa sawa kama sitame, Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagawan, Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe. So be delighted that all the harm you've ever done to any sentient being with your body is now completely purified, and think that there's no way you could do anything other than benefit others now with your body. And next is the purification of our speech. And Vajrasattva very happily sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra, and it arcs around and quite forcefully enters your crown, and it just fills your entire body. And this time, this nectar forces up to the top parts of the body, the upper parts of the body, and out all the negativity of your speech. And it just kind of flows out quite forcefully disappears into space. So you imagine all your gossiping and harsh speech and talking about people behind their backs and trying to get other people to kind of agree with you, sort of setting up divisiveness between people, all of this sort of stuff. Imagine all of this is purified by this powerful nectar filling you. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Drida meboa, situkaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, anorakta meboa, sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sitame, sitam shriyam guru hum ha ho bhagawan, sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya seta a hum pe. Vajrasafa samaya manupalaya, vajrasafa dina patita, Dida meboa, situkaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, anorakta meboa, sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sitame, sitam shriyam guru hum ha ho bhagawan, sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya seta a hum pe. Vajrasafa samaya manupalaya, vajrasafa dina patita, Drida meboa, situkaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, Anorakta meboa, sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sitame, sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ho bhagawan, sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya seta a hum pe. Vajrasafa samaya manupalaya, vajrasafa dina patita, Drida meboa, situkaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, Anorakta meboa, sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sitame, sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ho bhagawan, sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya seta a hum pe. Vajrasafa samaya manupalaya, vajrasafa dina patita, Dida meboa, situkaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, Anorakta meboa, sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sitame, sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ho bhagawan, sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya seta a hum pe. Vajrasafa samaya manupalaya, vajrasafa dina patita, Dida meboa, situkaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, Anorakta meboa, sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sitame, sitam shriyam guru hum ha ho bhagawan, sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya seta a hum pe. Vajrasafa samaya manupalaya, vajrasafa dina patita, Drida meboa, situkaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, Anorakta meboa, sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sitame, sitam shriyam guru hum ha ho bhagawan, sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya seta a hum pe. So again, feel so happy that your speech is now completely purified, and imagine it's not possible to do anything other than benefit others now with your speech. And next is the purification of our mind. And Vajrasattva very compassionately now sends powerful beams of light from his heart chakra. And this arcs around and enters your crown and fills your entire being. So it's similar to when you walk into a room, it's pitch black, you flick on the switch and instantly the light comes, doesn't it? So it's the same here. The moment the light from Vajrasattva's heart hits your heart chakra, all the darkness of the negativity of your mind, so your attachment, depression, anger, neediness, dissatisfaction, bitterness, grudges, all of this instantly dispelled, not one atom left as we recite the mantra again. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya, Vajrasattva dina patita, Drida meboa, situkaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, Anorakta meboa, sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sitame, sitam shriyam guru hum ha ho bhagawan, sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya seta a hum pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya, Vajrasattva dina patita, Drida meboa, situkaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, Anorakta meboa, sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sitame, sitam shriyam guru hum ha ho bhagawan, sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya seta a hum pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya, Vajrasattva dina patita, Drida meboa, situkaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, Anorakta meboa, sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sitame, sitam shriyam guru hum ha ho bhagawan, sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya seta a hum pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya, Vajrasattva dina patita, Drida meboa, situkaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, Anorakta meboa, sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sitame, Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ah Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Sawa Siddhi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Drita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Sawa Siddhi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe. So Shayla, if you could lock off the chat, that'd be great. Thank you. So be delighted that all your delusions, which are the source of all of our own suffering and the cause of why we harm others with our body and our speech, are completely purified, and think that there's no space in your heart now for anything other than love and kindness and forgiveness and wisdom and bliss and compassion. And next is the purification of even the imprints of negativity of our body, speech, and mind. So we're working at a much more subtle level here. So you imagine the nectar flowing down, pushing out all the negativity of the body, then the nectar flowing up, pushing out all the negativity of the speech, and then the light coming and blasting all of the delusions. And you think this, and imagine this is all happening at the same time, and it eradicates even the subtlest imprints of negative energy from your consciousness. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Sabasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sitam Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ah Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Drita Meboa, Situkaya Meboa, Sipokaya Meboa, Anorakta Meboa, Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sitame, Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagawan, Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe, Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya, Vajrasattva Dinapatita, Drita Meboa, Situkaya Meboa, Sipokaya Meboa, Anorakta Meboa, Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sitame, Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagawan, Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe, Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya, Vajrasattva Dinapatita, Drita Meboa, Situkaya Meboa, Sipokaya Meboa, Anorakta Meboa, Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sitame, Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan, Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe, Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya, Vajrasattva Dinapatita, Drita Meboa, Situkaya Meboa, Sipokaya Meboa, Anorakta Meboa, Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sitame, Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan, Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe, Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya, Vajrasattva Dinapatita, Drita Meboa, Situkaya Meboa, Sipokaya Meboa, Anorakta Meboa, Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sitame, Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan, Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe, Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya, Vajrasattva Dinapatita, Drita Meboa, Situkaya Meboa, Sipokaya Meboa, Anorakta Meboa, Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sitame, Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan, Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe. Now feel completely purified. There's not one atom of negativity left in your mind stream. Even the subtlest obscurations to your enlightenment have been removed. And now we come to the power of resolve And this is the fourth and final step in the purification process. And it's really crucial, this step, because nothing's going to happen unless we decide it's going to. So we just have to decide and make this something, a wish, something you'd like to do, something you want to do. So rejoice in your effort for coming along and doing this practice together. And then think about something you'd like to work on between now and Monday. So, I mean, you know, some of you may be doing this practice over the weekend. You know, you don't have to do, we're doing 28 mantras each evening during midweek. And we're doing this is because you're supposed to do 21, and the extra 7 that we do, it just kind of, it sort of ameliorates all the mistakes that we make in the first 21. They always say you do a few extra. So this is, and also the extra 28 is to make sure that we don't, there's no more seeds growing, no more weeds are growing in our garden. So Vajrasattva, imagine, is delighted with us, wants to merge with your mind and melts into white light and absorbs into you through your crown. And think, my teacher's body, speech, and mind, Vajrasattva's body, speech, and mind, and my own body, speech, and mind are the same. So next, Lama Zopa Rinpoche would recommend to meditate on emptiness. So he would say, in emptiness, there is no I, the creator of negative karma. There is no action of creating negative karma, and there is no negative karma created. So whatever level, you know, you understand that word emptiness, maybe it's just the word you understand. Maybe you've had extensive teachings on this idea. And maybe you're somewhere in between. So that you think of all phenomena as being empty, in that they don't exist from their own side. They don't exist the way we think they do. So let's just dedicate all the merit, all the positive energy you've created doing this practice to all living beings, and think, may all the virtuous karma I've created from doing this practice ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. And so here we come to chanting the names of Manjushri. Accomplished in the 10 paramitas, having the 10 paramitas as home, in whom the 10 paramitas are pure, for whom the 10 paramitas are means. Protector, reigning over all 10 grounds, residing steadily on all 10 grounds, made pure in nature by the tenfold knowledge, maintaining purity through tenfold knowledge, with tenfold forms, intent on tenfold content, with tenfold strength, pervasive Lord of sages, achieving every aim for every being, endowed with tenfold mastery, supreme. Okay. So let's just dedicate for His Holiness's long life, for the swift discovery of our precious Lama Zopa Rinpoche, and for all of your own individual teachers, and for precious Lou, because he's sitting right there in front of me on the top row.